Hello and welcome to the second tutorial for the One Sweater Knit Along. Hopefully you've had a chance to choose which of the One series patterns you want to knit and gotten yourself some beautiful yarn and had a chance to do a gauge swatch or two to make sure that you are in the right range for your tension. Now you're all ready to go. You're nearly ready to cast on. One thing I'll do just before I cast on is highlight the instructions for the size I'm going to knit. The One series patterns all have a large range of sizes, 15 in total, from 1 to 2-year-old up to a size 9, which is 157 to 162 centimeter chest, which is about 62 to 64 inch chest. That's a lot of numbers to keep track of, or a lot of numbers to ignore for every instruction. I find it helpful just to give each important instruction in my size a little highlight so that it's easy to see at a glance where I am in the pattern. It only takes a second, it's well worth it. And once you have done that, I think you're ready to cast on. My first instruction is to cast on a number of stitches using the backward loop cast on method. I find it easy to manage the yarn if I begin with a slip knot that doesn't count as my first stitch and is really gently put in to my needle so that it just sort of holds the yarn in place. I can undo that later. So I'm going to cast on with the backwards loop cast on method, which involves creating what you might call a half hitch or a backwards loop. Indeed, it is, just like it says on the tin. I'm creating a little loop that's twisted and then placed on the needle. Now that I've cast on the number of stitches I need, I am going to work my first row, which is a setup row. It's going to set us up to work our increases as we work through the top of the sweater. So my first instruction is to knit 2, which is always a little tricky on that first row. So I have 1, 2, and then it says place a marker. So I have 4 markers here, and I'm going to place my first marker to indicate the left front, and then I work to the next instruction and place the next marker. These will be the lines of increase that we work along the either side of the sleeve. Here I am at the end of my first setup row, and I have that extra little slip knot which I'm just going to undo, and now I am ready to get in to raglan increases and neck shaping. I have 4 markers here set, and I'd just like to show you what these end up as, how they help you when you're doing the raglan shaping. This is the schematic that's on the final page of all of your patterns, whichever pattern you work, and you can see here the distinctive lines of increase for your raglan shaping. So these lines correspond to these 2 markers, and you can't see, but in the back at the other side of this sleeve and shoulder, you have 2 more of these lines of increase, which correspond to these green markers. We're going to be making our increases strategically along these in order to accommodate the full upper arm and full body circumference here. Having worked the setup row and the first wrong side row, we are ready to begin the raglan increases. I just want to work through the first row of the increases with you to discuss how those increases work. Our first instruction for all the sizes is row 1, raglan increase, knit to 1 stitch before the marker. Here's our first marker, 1 stitch before, so we're going to make an increase right here. It is a make 1 right, and then knit 1 slip marker. So let's do that together. We'll knit our first stitch, and then the instruction for a make 1 right is from the back, lift the horizontal strand between stitches with the left hand needle. So with this, the tip of this needle, I'm just going to get in here and get this strand between those 2 stitches. And following that, we knit through the front loop. So this bit here is the one we want to knit into. And that is our right leaning increase. And then we knit 1 and slip our marker. Our next instruction is knit 1, make 1 left. So I'm going to knit 1, and then the instruction for make 1 left, from the front, lift the horizontal strand between stitches with the left hand needle. So left, I go into the front to catch that loop, and then knit through the back loop. So I'm always kind of going the most awkward way. So I'm going to just go in there to the back loop and knit that, and I have my make 1 left. And so we're always going to work the same type of increase along the same side of the marker. On the front side, I'm working a make 1 right. On the back, a make 1 left. Those paired increases are going to be the same on each marker. So you can continue on with the instructions for your size, making those increases until you have finished the yoke. And I will see you again for the next video, which is about dividing for the body and the sleeves.